I used to have no friends. I was caught in the midst of the COVID loser crisis, essentially everything being shut down, online school. With me being in my awkward middle school era, it didn't provide the right environment for me to develop my social skills. So coming out of that was a struggle. After in-person meetups were slowly coming back, I felt like I lost complete touch of reality. And it also seemed like everyone grew their friendships over quarantine, while I couldn't even keep any of my old friends from drifting away. I spent so much effort grasping onto the little remnants of my friendships that I had left, but eventually I was isolated. I had my family, but there was no one my age that I could turn to for support. So, what happened? How did I get out of that? Sure, I could say that the world was just thawing from the pandemic and everyone needed a moment to get back into the groove of socializing. But I think I might have more to add to that. I have no friends. And the way people define friends, it's pretty subjective. And a lot of people think of friends as how I think of acquaintances. Just someone who you are friendly with, but you aren't necessarily friends with. During this time, I feel like I only had one box that I was trying to fit the definition friends in. And I mean, she has a point, like it's a deeper connection when you have friends compared to acquaintances, but also we have friends for many different reasons. I've kind of just stopped getting so deep into things because sometimes it's unnecessary. You can have like work friends, school friends, close friends in general. Friends are people who value your time and who you value their time. And it's that mutual respect, that mutual bond, that mutual effort. It takes both parties to be friends. I'm just gonna speed this up for time's sake. I was kind of in a dilemma because I would put so much effort into a friendship that was kind of already fading away. And instead of just going with the flow, I tried my best to keep the spark going. I realized that it's better to just match their energy, honestly. In elementary, I made such good friendships. That was my bestest friends ever that I've ever had. That was the strongest friendships that I've ever had in my life. And it's really hard when you're in a new situation and you kind of compare it to the old one. You're like, why aren't people like this? It was so easy to make friends back then. What's happening now? During this time, I was only in middle school. It was hard for me to make friends in middle school. So I was really attached to my elementary friends because I kind of freshly came out of elementary. Not really. Even after we separated and went to different schools, I still was attached to them like 3 years later. Childhood friendships, they just come so naturally, and it makes sense that they hold a special place in my heart. And also the fact that I didn't experience that same type of friendship in middle school. But entering high school, I actually had the opportunity to experience great friendships just like elementary. I don't keep in contact really with my elementary friends anymore because we have our own lives now. That chapter closed. Now the present. Grade 8, that was kind of, it basically was non-existent. I took online for like 3/4 of the year, so yeah, that was kind of when I started to realize, hey, I'm losing friends by the second. In my school, when there's friend groups and stuff, I feel like it's so hard to join in or to be welcomed in those friend groups because a lot of people kind of shut you down and just only interact with the people they're friends with and kind of make you feel very excluded. So that's kind of what I mean. That's somewhat true to an extent. How my school was quite cliquey, okay? Everyone's just in their little cliques. Like, literally, it's so cliquey. You can see the obvious groups of people. Yeah, I haven't really talked to anyone. And it was intimidating. I felt like I wasn't comfortable enough to just enter in someone's group. I felt like I didn't automatically have friends that I was comfortable with. I was also closed off. And I think at this time I didn't like to admit it, but I was quite closed off. I lost hope in making friends. I accepted the fact, question mark, that people just didn't seem to want to talk to me. And so I just closed myself off. And I was in my little world for the entirety of that year. I would always wear my headphones. I would always walk alone. I would look at my phone, and I would only interact with people if they initiated interaction with me first. So that was kind of a problem, and I felt like sometimes I just refused to come out of my shell because I had this idea of myself that people didn't perceive me as worthy of being their friend. And I kind of made that part of my identity. This was one of my most insecure eras because I felt so isolated. All we talk about is school. Sometimes share stories of random stuff, but it's a pretty surface level friendship. And I can tell that after I leave high school, I don't even have any of their contact information or anything because this friendship, I don't feel like it's bound to last. And It's not even much of a friendship. So basically what I'm saying is this friendship is more just like an acquaintanceship out of convenience, but I'll still consider them friends because they're the only friends I have. And everyone else in my classes, they already made their friend groups in the beginning of the year. I have no friends in my classes at all. At all. This isolation era, it led to desperation. When anyone showed a slight interest in talking to me or interacting with me, I would take that and run with it. I would be like, okay, this is a chance for me to make a friend, possibly, so I will try my best to be a friend to them. But there was a dichotomy there because I also was super wary about making friends because I also had a fear that they wouldn't like me and that they would reject me. Long story short, I was desperate for friends, but I was also not willing to open up to people. A lot of people just, like, they're friendly, but they don't care that much. They don't try to build a friendship. They don't really try to build much of a connection with me. And so it's so hard when you're not gaining that reciprocation. It's so hard when you feel like you're the only one who cares. Because it really seems like that. It really seems like everybody else doesn't care. That's where you can see the flaw in my mindset because I kind of shifted the blame on other people, on my entire school's population. I really had to roast them like that. But she was speaking some truth in that. A lot of people I didn't have a compatible personality with. Like, there's some people who you can just click with and some people who you just don't. And there's a lot of people from that school that I just didn't click with. And it also seemed like there was a lot of people who didn't care about me. And that's okay because the world doesn't revolve around me. But also, I think this played a part in me being so closed off because I automatically assumed that nobody cared about me. I probably gave a hostile vibe to people without even meaning to. If apparently everybody around you just doesn't want to be friends with you, or if you're having trouble making friends with anybody, then maybe you're the problem. I've definitely thought about that, and I've definitely took that into consideration. But number one, maybe I'm too shy. Maybe I'm too quiet and I'm not sharing my perspective enough. Maybe I'm not approachable enough or interesting enough to talk to. Number two, It's the approachable part. I don't think she was approachable at all. I usually distance myself when especially in a new friendship, sometimes I get kind of scared of commitment and I'm like, oh my gosh, where's this gonna lead? Am I gonna be too attached? Like, are they gonna be too attached? I don't want that to happen because it's sometimes uncomfortable when when things are changing. Like, oh my gosh, I just made a new friend. I distance myself. I try not to get too attached and I try not to let them get too attached because it's too much of a difference compared to my normal life without any friends. And that's a big problem. Because I've already gotten used to life with no friends, so I'm kind of scared when I actually do make friends. Yeah, I just needed some time to be isolated, and I needed some time to weed out the people from my life because... Sorry, my camera died, so now I'm using my phone. Anyways, it's not how you can fabricate your own self-image to make yourself look the best and the most appealing to people. You don't even really have to do much other than be yourself. When you're authentic to yourself, people just naturally come to you. The right people naturally find you. And that's what I realized. First of all, I stopped being in my head and I started just to let loose a little. I just stopped being super self-conscious. When I stopped trying so hard, that's when I actually started making friends, and good friends at that. Character development? I'm so excited for next year because I'm hopefully going to a new school, and I'm so excited for this school, and this school seems like such a great fit for me. It seems like these people at this new school, I feel like I'll fit right in and I'll make so many friends, and I'm so excited for that. And
that's my new hope. That's what's making me motivated to go to school every day so I can finish the school year off.
The school that I'm talking so enthusiastically about, I didn't get accepted into. I love the school I'm going to right now. Honestly, like, I'm glad that I didn't get into that other school because I wouldn't have made such, like, close friends and such great experiences that I've had at the school that I currently go to. I think I grew feelings of hatred towards my old school because I grew hatred for my inability to make friends, and I just automatically correlated that with the school, because while there is a degree of truth to the fact that the environment wasn't exactly my cup of tea, I also can't deny the fact that I chose to close myself off. I chose to think that the school wasn't good. I chose to demonize this school. There was nothing really wrong with that school. I just had a different idea of what my ideal school would look like, and that school just wasn't it.
Just focus on the positive, focus on yourself. Don't try to care about, try to fit in or trying to be like these people, like in order to make friends, because if you're not being yourself, then how will that friendship last, you know? So just be yourself and you will attract people who you are like, okay? Don't let this get you down, and also know you're not alone. We're both on the same track, you know?
Be yourself, yes. Focus on yourself, no. Why do I think that? It's because when I focused on myself, I got so caught up in overthinking everything that I was doing that diverted my attention away from actually creating a bond with someone, because I was so focused on myself and what I was doing and what I want. Like, that's so selfish, girl. Instead of focusing on the present, focusing on enjoying the moment, whether that's with other people or whether that's just in solitude, you know? I'm working on trying to be less closed off and realize that there are people out there who want the best for me. There are people out there who actually care about me as a person, who want to hear what I have to hear. Sometimes I kind of get stuck in my past mindset that people don't care about me and that no one wants to know about my life, and that people are already so caught up in their life that my presence is a nuisance, when that's not the case. There will probably be people who will think that, but there will be even more people who value your presence and who appreciate your presence. So, you know, I'm on this journey of recognizing and realizing my self-worth. It's definitely still a work in progress. I've been through a little bit of a character development. I'm happy that I made friends, that it wasn't just a perpetual problem of mine. And I'm happy to know that I wasn't completely the problem, because if I was the problem, I would still not have any friends to this day. But yeah, that's my response. I was so desperate for friends, it's not even funny. And then now I kind of got the friend group that I desperately dreamed of. I'm thankful to God that He allowed that to happen. And I'm also thankful that I went through that isolation era, because it kind of gave me a reality check. I think spending so much time alone allowed for lots of self-reflection. That's my 2 cents. If you don't have friends right now, just trust the process. There are 7 billion or 8 billion people in this world. There will be at least a handful of people who will understand you. You're put in this world for a reason. You will find people who will help guide you along your path. God is always with you. He is always here to listen, to guide you, and to accept you with open arms. You just have to go to Him. Thanks for watching. What was my motto? Stay motivated, stay happy, keep shining, and God bless you.